Radio Ansaar podcasts.
Yes, people. Everyone's talking energy. Everyone's talking load shedding. And it's gone to stage 8, stage 10. Hey, stage 0, ground zero. There's darkness all over. Well, will solar power save South Africa? And today we're chatting to Frans van Zyl, who is the co-founder and the managing director of Solar Hub SA, and who is talking about solar energy. Frans, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us on the platforms of Radio Ansaar.
Hi, Zahir. Thank you very much for having me.
You're most welcome, Frans. Now, tell me, Frans, solar power, solar energy. I mean, everyone's talking solar, and many are saying, right, we're going to go off the grid and we're going to go on solar. Many have done that. Very costly indeed. And perhaps you're going to give us good news this afternoon, Frans.
Yes, I am. I think I'll start off by just explaining some of the basics regarding solar and some of the ideas that people have, in the sense of battery backups and going completely off grid. I think people don't really understand the difference between the two.
Frans, you have a surname that I'm very au fait with. It's definitely a Afrikaner surname. And I know I talk very often with the Professor Andre Duvenhager from the Northwest Universities. And, we noticed that he talks about the technology and he talks about Ansaar Mensa. He talks about the Boer farmers, always a Boer marker plan. And you're always, innovating and how to get off the grid. And you have certain, innovations. You always do that. I mean, we look at Van der Bijl, the history of Van der Bijl. He was the one that got Eskom up. He's got Kuba. I mean, you talk about energy and you talk about many things. It was the name Van der Bijl. Professor Van der Bijl comes to the fore. When it comes to solar power and solar energy, I mean, you look at Orania, completely off the grid. Few other, dorpies that are going off the grid. But this is the acumen that you have, the innovation that you think of, and perhaps that has rubbed off onto you, and this is why you're into this field, Frans.
Well, personally for me, I really, really enjoy, a sustainable future. I've got 3 young kids. They are 6, 4, and 3 years old, and I hope for a future where they don't have to live in polluted cities. I'm from Middelburg myself, Middelburg, Mpumalanga, and there is so many coal mines there, which we obviously need at this stage. But hopefully, when they come to my age, we would have transitioned to a more sustainable energy source. So that's more my motivation for being within this sector right now.
Now, Frans, perhaps the question to pose is, what does the current energy landscape looks like for solar, especially in South Africa?
Well, the landscape is actually looking very positive. Government is really coming to the party. We don't exactly know what that's going to look like, but at least there's some serious conversations with government and the private sector. And if you look at the majority of the larger banks, even some of the private banks, they are all gearing up to have very specific products and, from a financing standpoint for solar. Even some hedge funds, private equity funds. So, once these big guys start moving in a sector, that the landscape is ready and it's ripe for the picking. And
now, Frans, we know, when you talk about solar energy or the solar boards, most of them you can buy it at the China Mall. You go to the China Mall and you order them and you get it. And some say, is it true that most of the boards and the equipment that you buy for solar energy is bought from the Chinese? Or do you manufacture your own boards and your own, maybe batteries and lithium batteries, or do you have to import all these things?
That's a great question. When we look at the different products, majority of the solar products, right, is manufactured in China. Majority. So I want to be bold and say, I think about 75 to 80% of the products that we use in South Africa is manufactured in China. However, I've got some very, very exciting and good news regarding that, because there's 3 or 4 battery manufacturers in South Africa that makes excellent batteries. They obviously buy the cells from China, because we haven't got a cell manufacturer. But once the cell is in South Africa, they put all the components together, and some of them even design their own battery management system. And that's software development engineers working in with the R&D teams. So yes, a majority of the products comes from China, but there is battery manufacturers in South Africa, which is extremely exciting. But you said you can go to the China mall or a China shop and go and buy products. We prefer to look at warranties instead of looking at the product. So I can go and buy a product with a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty for half the price of a product that's got a 10-year warranty, got a long-standing relationship with the majority of the suppliers in South Africa that can support that product within South Africa. And that is really the key. That is what the market needs to look at. Where does this product come from? It's not as important as how long have they been here, how long is the warranty, and do you have support in country for that specific product?
Yeah, great point indeed. And also, South Africa could produce a lot more renewable energy. And, what does it need to make that happen? I mean, people like yourself have come to the fore, but, to get perhaps the majority of the people, I'm talking about our black brothers and sisters, get them more involved in technology and make them more tech savvy. What's your thoughts on that, Frans?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Obviously, if we can start these initiatives within high school, with science projects and science fairs. Now, I know there's some of that going on already. But once you get the youth really interested in sustainable and or renewable energy, I think that's the key. But to accelerate this, we really have to look at policies, and that's where government has to step in and really play a big part. And I want to say be more aggressive with the incentives, and potentially look at creating a fund where lower income housing or lower income families could potentially benefit from having solar in a safe environment. And that's what I would like to see. Maybe a smaller scale solution, but for guys to at least have a couple of lights and maybe a fridge, and a TV. So if there could be some sort of a fund, and if the government could be a little bit more aggressive to help, some of our black brothers and sisters, I think that would be really great.
Frans, I'm looking at a question on the screen. It says, good afternoon, Shafat and Frans. I'm really enjoying the program. Would want to know from Frans, why is battery so expensive, and what is the lifespan on a good battery? That is, there is this gel battery, and now I believe lithium is the way to go. But lithium costs an arm and a leg. Frans, that's a good query there.
That's a great question. It comes back to the lifespan of said batteries, right? So a lead acid battery might not last as long as a gel battery, but a gel battery will most definitely not last as long as a lithium ion battery. So, for example, a warranty on a gel battery could be anything from 1 year to 3 years. And then when you look at a quality, a long-standing product in South Africa with support in South Africa, that lithium-ion battery you'll get a warranty of 10 years. So we really look at the warranty and the support, and that does drive the price. Obviously, lithium is more expensive than the gel batteries because of the minerals they use in them. But again, one has to really look at the warranty and the cycles. You could potentially get 3,000 cycles out of a gel battery and potentially get 6,000 cycles out of a lithium-ion battery. So it's just comparing apples with apples. Great question. However, the lithium-ion battery will always outperform majority of the other batteries purely because of the lifespan and the quality. I hope that answers the question.
Hey, Frans, I'm getting I'm just sitting back and thinking, you said how many? 5,000 cycles. So after those cycles, how long is one cycle?
It depends on the capacity of the battery. So let's say you have a 5.1 kilowatt battery and you can discharge the full battery, so 100% of the battery, that would be one cycle. So you would have to use 5 kilowatt for 1 hour, or you use 1 kilowatt for 5 hours, and that would be one cycle to its depth of discharge. And then Eskom or your solar panels will then charge that battery back up. So that would be one complete cycle. So it depends on the size of the battery bank and or the individual battery that you've got.
So in other words, without the battery, you put solar panels there and you hope for the miracles. It will never work because the battery is the thing that gets things going, Frans. Otherwise, without the battery, you are nothing.
So there's three types of solar plants, without going into too much detail. So you get a grid tie. A grid tie solution is where you have an inverter and you have a whole bunch of solar panels. Now, the solar panels during the day and during sunshine days, the solar panels will absorb the sun's energy and the inverter will convert the energy into actual electricity. Now, that grid tie system will help you to combat the cost of electricity. However, when you get load shedding, that inverter will switch off and that solar plant won't produce energy. It's a safety feature. So the second option you've got is a battery backup. Now, a battery backup is just an inverter and a battery. Now, how that works is Eskom or your municipality will still charge that battery once it's gone down to its total depth of discharge. So if we have 10 people and 5 of them put in battery backups without solar plants, it's not really helping Eskom or the grid. So during load shedding, you will obviously use the battery, and after load shedding, you will then use Eskom to recharge the batteries, right? So the third one is a hybrid. Now, this is what you're talking about. This is the sweet spot. This is where the residential market or sector can really add value within the energy crisis. So now you have, let's say, 6 to 12 solar panels on your roof. You've got a hybrid inverter, and you've got your battery backup. So during the day, your battery will be charged using the solar panels, and all the excess it generates will then go back into your house where you need energy. And then also during the night, you will discharge your battery slowly, right? And you will not use Eskom. So that is the perfect scenario to really combat the energy crisis, is to have more residentials have hybrid solutions where the solar panels charge the battery and carry some of your load during the day, and you discharge the battery during the evening. So that's the three options. A grid tie is good for saving money. A battery backup is good for just combating load shedding. But a hybrid solar plant is the best option to combat the energy crisis as a whole. But I mean large scale, at 1, 2, 3 million houses type option.
Thank you for that. And also, many people are thinking, hey, what is the financing options available to home and business owners who cannot afford the initial capital for investment? What are the options, Frans?
Okay, so we are partnered with Home Energy, and they've got a couple of financing houses. One of them is Nedbank that they've partnered with. So it is, at this stage, there is so many different options. Asset financing, and then if you've got a bond, you could potentially take a loan out on your bond. There's cash financing. There is various private equities that will look at you as a person. You have to earn more than 40,000 Rand a month. There's so many different options right now. We like to work with trusted partners like Home Energy because they've got a very successful track record, and Nedbank is backing them 100%. So, those are two very big names within that specific sector with the residentials. Other than that, for businesses, there is various, you can just do a Google search and you'll see there's various options for financing. It just depends on your budget and what you actually need. There's various options for that.
Now, Frans, how do we know if the solar is the right choice for us?
Okay. So, again, I like to use myself as an example. With the 3 kids, if we get home around about 5 and we have load shedding from 5 to 8, it's an absolute nightmare because we have to cook food, we have to have lights in the house to bath the kids, to get the homework done, and also we have to entertain them for a little while. You might have some personal admin that you need to do on your computer and so on. So it depends on where you are in your life. But for a family man, I would say the load shedding hours between 5 and 9 in the evenings, once you get so frustrated that you can't really operate on a normal scale, I think that's when you need to consider at least getting a battery backup, where you could have all your lights on and you can have maybe 2 plug circuits, your Wi-Fi, your home computer and your TV. Once you have those basics sorted and potentially your alarm, we're still in South Africa and it could be dangerous here. So once you've got those basics covered, then you are good. You're not sustaining or helping if you haven't got solar panels. But once you're frustrated with just the normal basics in life, I think that's when you need to start looking at a battery backup.
Now, I like what you said. We're still in South Africa. We know what goes on. And recently, I've been reading the newspapers, and I'm seeing, thieves are targeting solar panels. I mean, that is worrying indeed, Frans.
Yes. For obvious reasons, I can't go into detail. I know of one specific company that apparently, I cannot confirm this, but it's about 10 million Rand worth of stock that was stolen. And I mean, this was a proper bad robbery where they jumped out with semi-automatic weapons. There was about 3 or 4 vehicles. They stole the whole truck. So it's definitely very dangerous for these larger companies that carry, 200, 300, 400 million Rand worth of stock. They're sitting ducks, they're targets.
Yes, Frans, before we let you go, how can listeners get in touch with you?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so they can get in touch via our website, www.solarhubsa.co.za, and or they can go to our Facebook and LinkedIn page at Solar Hub SA. And they can just send us a message, or they can fill in a contact form on the website, and one of our amazing account managers will definitely be in touch. And they can even chat to us about financing, etc., and we can just point them in the right direction.
I'll tell you, Frans van Zyl, the co-founder of Solar Hub. A pleasure talking to you. Thank you for being very informative. You have a blessed afternoon ahead. Hopefully, we'll talk to you soon, Frans.
Thank you very much, Saeed, and I hope you have a blessed evening. To you and all your listeners, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you to Frans there, and alhamdulillah, people. Are you into solar energy? Yes, if you're into solar energy, you need to check your batteries out, get the right batteries, get the right connections, and make sure that you have a good security around the yard, because thieves today are targeting the solar panels. And Well, many of us have bought generators. Many have of us maybe, yeah, we have that other backup. And main thing I think people worry about, they worry about the Wi-Fi. Hey, if the Wi-Fi is working or the computer is working, then the house is happy. And many are using gas stoves and so forth. But I wonder, many of you, will you go in for your solar energy? Time for us to go for the news, and inshallah, we will continue after that.